Merry Christmas.
Hello and welcome to a special Christmas edition of Kill James Bond. I am Alice Caldwell-Kelly. I am assisted by my elves, Abigail Thorne and Devon.
Hello! Deck the halls, baby. It's the Kill James Bond Christmas special.
Yo, boy, what day is it? Why, sir, it's Bondmas Day. Opening my presents and they release some kind of gas.
Yeah, if you have to open this briefcase, your attaché case in which your presents are contained. It's got a roll of gold sovereigns.
Now, pay attention, 007. This is some aftershave and some chocolates. We're all very happy to be working with you. We'll just have a very Merry Christmas, 007.
Looks like an ordinary pair of socks.
So this organization tolerates failure. Here you go, bud. Just like,
it tolerates failure every year. It's, this is the thing. Blofeld doing his big meeting, his AGM on Christmas, and he's like, touch your hand to the metal plate. You know what? Maybe don't. You know what? It's fine. It's Christmas.
Say what you will. Spectre as an organization has tolerated an immense amount of failure from one Ernst Stavro Blofeld.
It's true.
I'd say the entire organization's purpose is to tolerate its failures at this point.
Much like me in this podcast. We're stalling for time because, as is tradition now that we've done it twice, it's tradition. As is cinema, we're doing Die Hard again because of boyfriend, capital Y, capital B, your boyfriend TM, the most annoying man in the world, loves to say Die Hard is a Christmas movie, right? Mm-hmm. And he loves to say this as if this is some huge, great, film insight that no one else has had. And so we did Die Hard last Christmas. This Christmas, we're doing the one where an Italian-American man pops up every 5 minutes to go,
Merry Christmas.
There is no disputing. Die Hard 2 is a Christmas film.
Absolutely.
Yes, 100%.
It would be reductive to say that it isn't. It would be wrong, even. Mm-hmm. Cut the bit where I said reductive, because it's not the right word. Cut this whole bit. You know what? Maybe we can just cut the whole podcast. Maybe I don't even need to say anything. Maybe we can just do what? I can just do the
Merry Christmas.
This organization tolerates failure.
We gotta. It's part of our job now. It's our raison d'etre. We have to talk about Die Hard 2.
I'll be honest, right?
It's the second Die Hard. I believe that was the tagline.
Die Harder.
Or in German, The Hard 2.
Fuck's sake, Abby.
Devon, do you have the CinemaSins ding?
I have it on my desktop. I can put it on the sampler so quickly.
Because it's going to become important. Because
yes.
My experience of watching Die Hard 2 is I have very little to say about it other than the fact that this is wrong. And so watching this, I could hear in my head a kind of machine gun fire of CinemaSins dings. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I appreciate how slow you were talking at it, giving me the time to get that. Felt like I was trying to keep talking and no one explodes, dragging it into the sampler.
But no, the experience of watching Die Hard 2 is like talking to a man who is he's funny sometimes, he's kind of charming, he's a little bit interesting, but every single thing he says to you is so wrong. It's so wrong, but correcting it becomes impossible not to.
This happened to me in LA when I was hanging out, and this guy who was also in the hotel for a medical technology conference started hitting on me, and he was telling me about crypto and how he was from Florida, and then he was talking about increasingly right wing, and I was just like, I'm wearing a bikini and I have my legs crossed, and if I uncross my legs, I'm going to destroy this man's entire psyche when he sees my cock outline. And I'm I'm just going to not do that. He might get violent.
The thing is, it's not even a particularly right-wing movie by the standards of early 90s, late 80s action movies. What it is, though, is it's so right. It's like if that guy, right, instead of talking to you about crypto, had been his opening gambit had been, did you know that weasels are a type of dog?
It's Anthony Hopkins from The Edge, but wrong about everything.
Do I still have the...
She's transsexual.
No.
That's what he thought.
Yeah.
That's not the one.
Real end of year vibes from this one.
Look at that slot.
I like this film though. I like it because like you don't need to have seen Die Hard 1, so listeners don't worry about that because it's basically just like Die Hard B, Die Hard again.
Yeah. Die Hard 1, all you need to know, John McClane, Bruce Willis, he's a cop. He's an LAPD cop. He used to be an NYPD cop, but the events of Die Hard 1 happened.
Mm-hmm.
We see him first at the airport, at Dulles Airport in Washington, D.C. It's Christmas, it's snowing, and he is doing some mild police corruption because he has parked his car illegally directly in front of the airport. He's just like, left it there with the door open like he's gonna fucking like terrorize the place. And they're towing his car. And he tries to do the kind of like, listen, I'm a cop. You're also a cop. Would it behoove you to do some professional cop to see?
Let's do some corruption together on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Parked right in front of the airport for a flight that is canonically getting there in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
He's just gonna wait.
He's parking in the red area, and dude, the red area is for loading and unloading only. And this Italian American.
Did you seriously just park in the red area? That's for loading and unloading only.
This Italian American cop who shows up every 5 minutes to say
Merry Christmas.
Says
Merry Christmas.
And
he does, yeah. Because Bruce Willis goes, but it's Christmas. Surely you wouldn't tow a guy's car on Christmas.
It's Copsmas Day.
Yeah, come on. You wouldn't hit a little birthday boy if the birthday boy was Jesus.
Yeah, and he's like, listen, I don't give a shit if you're some fancy pants LA cop. You still parked illegally. I'm going to tow your car.
Yeah, there's like weird regional cop beef in this.
I think reasonable. This guy's called Sergeant Vito Lorenzo, by the way, and this is the level of cultural insensitivity we're going to operate on. I wrote down at this point, when he does something so corrupt, you have to hit him with the Serpico stare, and he does kind of.
No, you're 100% on this one.
So John McClane, he goes into the airport. He's waiting for his wife Holly, who we saw in Die Hard 1.
They got back together at the end of Die Hard 1 because of the events of Die Hard 1.
Holly playing also in this movie.
She's on a plane. She's coming in like 3 hours time. And meanwhile,
so they have this phone call which sets up one of our themes of the movie.
Oh fuck! I hate when something sets up.
So John calls her, and there's a phone on the plane, which I don't think we even have that now. But like he's just like, oh, it's amazing. Like, you beeped my pager and then I called you, and she's like, yeah, it's the 90s, like technology. And he's like,
it's the 90s.
Technology's gay, actually. That's one of the themes of the film.
He's a man out of time.
Yeah, totally original. We never had that before.
Oh, a man out of time. Well, that'll be good. That'll be interesting. Let's see how he interacts with this technology. Second thing to note about this movie is this is in the 90s, right?
Sure.
This is pre 9/11, and we're talking about an airport.
Yeah, incredible.
It's a different fucking world. you could do anything.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, the shit that he does.
Oh my, you're just smoking in there, guy carrying a running chainsaw, Bin Laden is there.
There's two dudes walking, carrying a big plane of glass all the time.
John has a gun?
Yes,
just like in an airport.
The woman's sitting next to Holly on the plane. Is this like nice older lady? She's kind of boring. She's like, by the way, I brought my stun gun on this plane in case anyone gives me any shit.
She pulls out the taser and then, as if to prove it's real, lets it bark briefly. She does the thing where she lets it like spark. Like, in your carry-on, madam?
Yeah, no, fully. You just carry that on board. So the other thing is, the news is telling us...
Still no liquids over 125 mil, though. It's very strange.
That's right. They're doing a Manuel Noriega bit, right? This deposed South American dictator, General Ramon Esperanza, insert the Tom Clancy "Sí, Señor" drop here, from the country of Valverde, which is the same country in the Schwarzenegger movie Commando, by the way. So it's just sort of general Latin American.
Little reference there. Fun.
Yeah. He's being extradited to the US. The Justice Department are waiting to meet him at Dulles Airport.
We're about to win the war on drugs.
Yes, yeah. And the TV news is there.
We've arrested drugs. We're bringing him in.
They're about to arrest General Drugs. And this TV news reporter is there. She's filming a bunch of like bored Justice Department guys. And the TV news broadcast is interrupted by a
God,
savage karate chop through the frame, and we see a man doing naked, oiled calisthenics in a hotel room.
Like he's a fucking Klingon. It rules. This is guy I love to see. First of many guys we love to see. William Sadler playing Colonel
Stewart. Colonel Oliver North. Because he is Oliver North. People keep saying to him, "Hey, aren't you the guy who got shit canned by Congress for all that shit you did?" He's Oliver North. He is recognizable to the public, which is going to be a problem for him later. He's watching the news where General Ramon Esperanza is being sort of like led onto the plane that's going to take him to the US, and he's doing like Carter. He's doing the moves. He's doing like
he's doing fully nude vinyasas and shit. Like
I slam the VHS tape into the player. I'm doing the moves along with the main character, General Ramon Esperanza, and I'm doing them hard.
Did either of you spot who the actor is who plays General Ramon Esperanza?
Oh, that's Franco Nero.
Yes, it is. It's the original Django, who was in Django with me. I've been in the same show as this guy. We
That's
never met.
fucking crazy.
There's a Kevin Bacon connections here.
But he had a cameo in the new Django, which I was in.
Colonel Stewart, he does like turning off the TV really fast, Carter, and then like over the shoulder with the remote, like, and then
he does.
He does this.
It's like, calm down, man.
Gets out of the room, and simultaneously, his boys are all checking out with him in pretty sick winterwear. Robert Patrick, I love to see.
Fucking
Patrick, yeah.
I didn't clock him until later, but I'm so pumped when I see Robert Patrick.
The Terminator was there. Terminator 800 was there. And I just wrote down me and the boys from Trash Future living in Ibis budget hotel to do a live show in Warrington to 50 people because they're moving into the situation. It's like very choreographed. They're carrying Christmas presents.
Yeah,
as well.
that's quite fun too. Which we surmise are like probably not really Christmas presents.
Merry Christmas.
It's Christmas.
And as they walk into the airport, I guess lobby, foyer, room. Sadler bumps into John McClane
At the airport.
And John McClane's like, "Hey, do I know you?" And he's just like, "Yeah, no, probably not."
Yeah, they're like, I've been on TV. And McClane goes, "Yeah, me too." He also then runs in this secret mission immediately into the TV camera crew who are like, "Yo, that's fucking Ollie North."
Whoa, wait a minute.
No. I love the TV news reporter in this because she has such undiagnosed ADHD because she's trying to stay on one story, and the one story is General Drugs is coming into town, and she gets distracted because she keeps recognizing people.
General Drugs is coming to town.
She keeps fucking recognizing people, and she keeps going, "Yo, that's fucking Ollie North," and going to like get a statement from him about nothing. "Yo, that's John McClane," and goes to get a statement from him about nothing. Neither of them want to talk to her.
Just filming everything and then coming together in the edit.
Yeah.
100%.
That's how news works. I think
we just film everything. There's a story eventually, I think.
Yeah, sort of like the TikTok protocol. Meanwhile, across town,
TikTok Protocol is my least favorite Robert Ludlum novel.
there's this old church, right? It's been de-sanctified, and it's been they're turning it into a daycare. But while it's there, they have one guy who's like watching the shop, right? Yes, raising hand.
I'm just interested. This is a total aside. I just raised my hand to ask a question, listeners. How do you desanctify a church?
You take the like primary relic out the altar.
Do you have to send a special guy to do that? Is that like, because you have to send a special guy to sanctify a church?
You would generally use a priest for this, yes. I mean, this I only know like from the Catholic, but that's what you do: is you take the relic out the altar and you unplug the thing from God's USB port.
There's a relic in the altar?
Yeah, there should be.
You got to pop a relic in there.
There should be a primary relic in the altar.
Yeah, to power it up.
Yeah, it's plugged into the fucking...
What is it?
Like, could be anything, really.
Whatever.
Mary Magdalene's hair, what do you want?
Yeah, you know.
Pull it out and it goes, boo, and all the stained glass windows turn black and white.
All the stained glass goes unstained.
Yeah, it goes...
That's way funnier than what I was going for.
All right, so the priest
wine
is already...
turns back into water. It's like,
all the gold like turns bronze, just like it all powers down.
The priest has already been in. He has already unplugged the primary relic USB drive. And he's gone.
Sanctity.exe.
He's deconsecrated the fucking church, right? That's what I'm going for. The consecration or non-deconsecration of this building is not a key plot.
It's such an interesting system.
I'm just curious.
I've just never come face to face with like the prospect of having to desanctify something, and I want to know everything about it, basically.
I thought they always just stayed sanctified, and you're in a fish restaurant and it's holy.
Also, the thing is, I said sanctified, and more properly, what I should have said is consecrated, and I only picked that up just now.
I thought that's when you fuck.
That's consummated.
we consecrated our marriage.
We consummated that church.
They sent a guy to fuck that church. You gotta do it on the altar, man.
All right, the guy's fucked in the church and made it not holy anymore.
Right.
Now there's this old guy there, and this old guy answers the door to two like power department
They send a
guys.
gay couple to fuck to unholify it. Anyway, they send some guys to come and check on the church.
Yeah, they're blatantly two goons in disguise as maintenance men.
Two goons. And this guy, he lets them in and he sets them up for the fucking line because he goes, yeah, it's not been the same since they had that gay couple fuck on the altar. I've been here all my life. And, when I die, it's almost like part of me is going to get shot with a gun too. And the guy goes, that's crazy.
It's insane that you would say that, actually.
That's wild. I am now shooting you with a gun.
Coincidence. I just have this gun here.
I wasn't even going to do it, but you set me up so good.
Yeah.
You actually, you know what, man? You convinced me. Fair enough.
So they shoot the guy, which I guess deconsecrates the church a bit more. It's like sort of like negative
Bad
church
now.
at this point.
Yeah.
The evil church.
Crime scene, actually. The opposite of a church in many ways.
So they take over the thing and they're like hooked into a radio, and we see as McClane, who's wearing a fantastic like knit sweater.
I wrote a lot about the sweater.
There's so much good winter wear in this movie. It's almost like 3 Days of the Condor level winter wear. But he's watching these three sinister looking guys in the airport bar, and they're all talking on radios. And we have here my favorite and my ideal role in this conspiracy, which is the guy whose only job is listen to the weather forecast.
It's how the hell did that guy get the job?
You need a meteorological guy.
Yeah, you
it's
always
important.
need a weather guy. He says there's a storm moving in over the airport, and they're like, haha, good. And actually, we find out later that this is very lucky because a great deal of their plan relies on there being a storm. Which is
really
fortunate.
really fortuitous.
John smokes his cigarette in an airport.
Yeah. As they get up, John smoking.
He says, "See it, say it, sorted."
Yeah, and he does. He texts British Transport Police on 61016, and he goes up to the
Immediately gets a text back saying snitches get stitches.
You just if you text the British Transport Police, you also got a text back that's just like grass.
Yeah.
In that situation. So he goes up to the bar where there's two airport cops, and one of the airport cops he turns around. He's like, "Officer, I just saw a guy with a and the cop turns around and goes,
Merry Christmas.
because they got one
It's the
airport
same
cop,
guy.
same guy, and because this cop would not do corruption for him, John McClane facilitates a terrorist attack because he goes, "Oh yeah, this guy had a gok, massive feminine penis. I didn't see anything.
It's crazy.
Suspicious. Wow, it's like 1990. That's legal."
Can you tell me whether there are any like corrupt police officers that I could discuss this with, maybe?
Yeah. So he follows them, or he follows one of them, and he sees him like duck into a secure area, and.
This is part of John McClane's thing, is that he's got a cop's badge from LA, and if he shows you it fast enough, you're not going to notice that it doesn't cover DC airports. He just runs up to people and goes, "Look, I'm a cop. All right, let me in."
Yeah, it's a kind of this is the power of the like janissary class of American cop, is you just have a thing you can flash at people to make them do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's the wings.
It's cool.
Fucking sick. He also, I gotta tell you, he's big dicking this, all right? He has an immense amount of confidence about this. This is his second rodeo, but he is fully going, "It's not my fucking first rodeo, is it, boys? I mean, I know what I'm doing."
If the number of rodeos is between 2 and infinity, it's not your first rodeo.
Yeah.
So
Fully at his he just like goes, "Get the cops. Let me in here. Get the cops." And then he walks.
don't tell him anything.
Don't tell him. Just bring him.
just get them. I am also a cop. I'm gonna go in.
He wants
first.
the glory. He genuinely is just like,
He doesn't wait. Like,
yeah, no,
this
not at all.
this is the smartest thing to do in all of these situations. Is to, if you're like in plain clothes, albeit sick roll neck sweater, you just don't tell anyone that you're in there. You just don't tell them what you look like or who you are. You go in first and you go in armed.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. And later he is a dick to the cops who mistake him for a terrorist, which I feel like you could have avoided this one pretty easily.
yeah.
But so he sees two of the guys plotting. They're installing some kind of a device.
Mhm.
Yes.
And he confronts them in the airport baggage room, which is like venting steam and shit like that.
Yeah, what is this room?
Yeah,
it's the
bagging
contraption.
Yeah.
There is no other word than contraption you can use here. And he goes, "Hey, you guys are obviously doing some Die Hard shit.
I'm die hard.
Yeah, now
John
begins
Die Hard.
gunfight."
Yeah.
This is verbatim. That's what he fucking said.
It's time for gunfight now, and they're like, it is. Yeah, it is.
Time for gunfight
They
now.
have a fight. It's quite a cool fight. It's good. All well filmed. Die Hard's always like very competently done.
I have some thoughts about this because I feel as if in this gunfight, and then not for the rest of the movie, what I like to refer to as the Home Alone quotient, the kind of zaniness of the action movie, increases a bit.
100%.
Yeah, quite odd. There's, he like sprays hairspray on a guy's face. It kind of
Chases a guy down with a bike.
it ramps up
Yeah.
that like he drops his gun on a conveyor belt, and then there happens to be a thing full of golf clubs going past, so he like hits the guy with a golf club, like he's fucking Pedro Pascal,
Frank
and just like
West's,
beats him with that golf
these
club.
guys.
But then he like hairsprays him, and then
He like
yeah.
feeds a guy into the contraption, which really kind of fucks the tone here.
He kills that guy.
Why is there like a crusher in it?
They have, so if you've ever been to the airport, you know that they have the machine that crushes your bag.
Yeah.
Mm.
The machine that destroys your bag. He throws a guy in there. It's brutal.
They actually do that if you if you're rude to anyone, they just divert it onto the conveyor belt that crushes your bag.
Or
as
they just do it
punishment.
for 1/10 of all people just for fun as well.
Yeah, if they see a guitar-shaped bag, that goes
That goes
right through the
through the
crush.
Yeah. And wheelchairs, crusher.
Yeah. Anything that looks
Fuck
like
yeah.
anything with a fragile sticker.
It's what I would do if I was working there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be
Goes
fair.
goes through the crusher.
Fully like shot pudding every bag.
Yeah, and the guy gets baggaged. He gets crushed to death. And McClane has now killed again. His second rodeo is firmly in progress. And the second guy escapes just as the airport police show up and arrest McClane.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, at this point, the guy who escaped runs to the church
Yes.
and he goes to see Colonel Stewart. And Colonel Stewart's like, this is an organization that somewhat tolerates
You
failure.
know what?
We got a one strike, but because
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
normally I
kind
wouldn't
of.
tolerate failure, but so he pulls out the Glock and he like fires it at the guy's face, but he's for some reason he's Israeli carrying it. He's carrying it on like an empty chamber, and it doesn't fire. And he just goes,
misnomer, I think.
Yeah, tell me about it. No, it's a thing. The IDF do this thing where they don't carry a pistol with the chamber filled. You have to rack the slide to. It's not important. Anyway, the point is that's a weird thing for him to be doing. By the way, that's another like Cinema Sins ding. Thank you. But the thing is, he goes, "That was a warning.
Yeah.
Were it not Christmas, I would have shot you dead in my cool command center that I've set up and
What?
desanctified this church even further."
He's like, well, listen, did you do the thing you went there to do? And he was like, yes, but we lost one guy. And he's like, fuck it. That's fine. That counts.
They lost the weather guy.
Oh, the weather
guy-
guy? That's a shame. We're going to have to employ someone who can look outside.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh no, he's gonna be replaced by a fucking window.
You replaced this guy with a fucking cockerel on on the roof, man. Like,
Yeah.
eh.
So McClane gets arrested and he goes to see the.
Not just yet. First, we cut back to Holly's plane.
Oh shit!
oh, yeah, we got to remember that she's in this fucking movie.
I only wrote down the stuff that interests me, and it's a short fucking list.
Yeah.
So
we go back to Holly's plane, and there's another character from the first film. Guy I love to see whose name I don't know, but he played Walter Peck in Ghostbusters. He's a reporter. He was a reporter in the first one who was a dick to Holly, and then Holly punched him on television at the end of the first
she
one.
cold cocked him.
Yeah, she cleaned his cock.
Fuck off.
And he recognizes
Listen,
her.
I almost said that Colonel Stewart cold glocked the guy.
She racked his slide.
did.
But like he's being a dick to the stewardesses, and like he recognizes, well, he has a restraining order against her for assaulting him on
When we
TV.
say he's being a dick to the stewardesses, one of them notes that he has done a program called Bimbos of the Sky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a hack.
In the 80s, you could do this.
Yeah, he's a total hack. And one of the stewardesses says like to Holly, like, "What did you do to this guy that he's so rattled?" And she says, "Oh, I punched him on TV." And she goes, "Do you want some champagne?" Which was quite funny.
Nice.
It is nice.
good.
Yeah.
Then John goes to see the captain.
Yeah,
Captain
and the
fucking
captain.
Lorenzo. This is the best scene in the movie, actually.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is a guy I love to see. This is Dennis Franz,
Yo!
Detective
Yeah, fucking
Sipowicz
is.
from NYPD Blue, which a show which my mum really liked back in the day, and so therefore I got through like osmosis. He's the captain / chief, they're never quite sure, of the airport cops.
Yeah.
And this guy is like, fuck you, John McClane, I don't want to be in a Die Hard movie. This is a guy who wants to be in a Die Hard movie less than anyone.
He's like, listen, I'm in charge of the fucking airport. It is Christmas. Shut the fuck up. Get out now. I have so much on my plate.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with this. I don't want to deal with it.
John's like, "Why haven't you shut the area down and like adjusted for prints and stuff?" And he's like,
It's like, suck my cock.
"Because it's the fucking baggage room of a major airport on Christmas Eve. I am
Christmas
not
Eve!"
shutting it down."
Yeah, we have to run that crusher, crush a bunch of kids' Christmas presents.
Yeah.
This is the thing, right? You're not
We've got
supposed to
drugs coming in on a plane in like 45 minutes.
fucking general drugs.
General
So
drugs
this
is
is
here.
this is the other thing, right? You're not supposed to like or feel sympathetic to this character yet.
Yeah.
And I instinctively do, both
Yeah,
because I
same.
love
100%.
cops and I love bureaucrats and I hate John McClane. So
We just get a really clean drop of you saying that you love cops.
I just love Italian Americans.
I support police uncritically. Yeah, no.
I'm not playing it.
John McClane shows up with his LAPD badge, and Dennis Franz quite correctly says, "Well, who the fuck are you? Why did you killed a guy?
Yeah.
First of all, which I'm not gonna like. I'm too busy to like do anything about. But you have kind of killed a guy.
Taking a life on Christmas Eve, that's kind of double. Murders count double on Christmas.
This place isn't even a church
he's
anymore.
sanctified this whole airport.
Baggage claim area is no longer a church. This is ridiculous.
Taking the primary relic out of the baggage.
That's what the machine runs on, quite frankly. It's a bit
The
of a
like finger
crosses
bone
in
of
there.
Saint Agatha, like squishing your baggage.
Yeah.
So,
But he's like, it's probably just some kid stealing luggage. And John says, well, it's not, because he's got a plasticine gun or something.
oh, I have the
Hit,
fucking.
hang on.
Give me like 12 of those in quick succession, like ding, 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 ding. Because John goes, oh, this guy I shot, he wasn't just a thug stealing baggage, a thing which I guess regularly happens.
That punk pulled a Glock 7 on me. You know what that is? It's a porcelain gun made in Germany. Doesn't show up on your airport x-ray machines.
Oh.
I need Rose Schmitz to make me a porcelain gun, and that'll liven up the fucking Great British Pottery Throwdown.
So,
Potters, this week we're making a fucking gun. Let's go.
this time on Gun Week. No, so this is the thing. This movie comes at an interesting
The gun in the kiln.
moment. You're putting the kiln.
Sanctifies the kiln.
This movie comes at an interesting moment in American firearms history, in the same way that Die Hard 1 did, right? Where you had this sort of like moving away from the revolver, which some of the airport cops still carry, and into something called the Wonder 9, right? The semi-automatic 9mm pistol. Bruce Willis carries a Beretta in both of these, and it really did Beretta a world of good, because it's the action movie gun. It was in all the action movies. But at the same
tell
time,
the story again. I won't.
the Beretta heiress, I know, but like she was considerably better off as an heiress because of the Die Hard movies. And around this same time, you also had Glocks coming. This is like a Gen 1, Gen 2 Glock 17, and it's another one of these like semi-automatic 9mm pistols. And it was so much better than everything that had been sort of like before it in terms of revolvers. And it was also made in part out of polymer, right? Which made it lighter. It was in some ways actually stronger. And people were like, whoa, this is the way of the future, right? And people heard polymer and they thought, that's a plastic. That means that they're making the whole gun out of plastic, and therefore you can just walk this thing through a metal detector or an X-ray detector, and that's never been true because it's still radio opaque and you still have to make bits of it out of metal and the ammunition is still metal, but it doesn't matter, right? The myth kind of gets traction. And the movie kind of changes things up and fictionalizes a bit. So it makes the Glock 7, which doesn't exist, made in Germany. Glocks are made in Austria, and it's made out of porcelain, which would be a terrible thing to make a gun out of. And this perpetuated this myth to the point that Congress had to ask the ATF, is this a real thing? Should we be banning the Roschmidt porcelain Glock?
No. I don't think you can call it that.
Yeah. So, and for the first time in the ATF's history, they had to be like, no, this is stupid. This doesn't exist. It cannot exist. But it doesn't matter. This is part of the kind of cultural conversation in America about firearms and about handguns specifically and about what they are and what they do and what they're for.
Interesting.
Where it's we're on this cusp of the future where not only can you get a phone call on a plane, but you can walk a 9mm pistol through airport security. Who knows what's possible? Anything. 9/11 possibly.
Fax a gun to a plane? Crazy.
Exactly.
It's not the worst thing one of these movies we've ever covered has sparked in the American psyche. For instance, The Rock made us invade Afghanistan.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
I wonder if the director feels bad about it.
Ask if that's fucking real in Congress.
Yeah. There is. I do want to divert now to talking about 9/11 as is traditional.
Finally,
on this podcast.
Oh my god! All right.
so I did a bit of research into this director of this movie, a guy called Rennie Harlin, and because he did a couple of action movies, and because he happens to be from Finland, this makes him commercially the most successful Finnish filmmaker of all time.
Hey, great.
Aki Kaurismäki found dead in Tampere. It's But
good
the
for
thing
him.
is,
Success and money, and that's it.
yes, yeah. But the problem is, I found on Wikipedia, on his Wikipedia, this paragraph. In 1999, Harlan began developing the action comedy Nosebleed, starring Jackie Chan as a window washer who foils a terrorist attack to destroy the World Trade Center.
Oh dear.
After the September 11th attacks, the plot was drastically rewritten before being completely shelved. Chan later told Oriental Daily News that the film was scheduled to begin filming at the North Tower less than 2 hours before it was hit by American Airlines Flight 11.
Oh my god, Jackie!
Whoa!
And that he only escaped the attack because he made a last-minute decision to travel to Toronto to begin filming The Tuxedo instead.
Well, there are things worse than dying in 9/11.
Yeah, it could have been in the tuxedo.
Yeah.
I mean, The Tuxedo saved Jackie Chan from dying in 9/11, but the other thing is,
He got a phone call ahead of time.
Imagine how bad 9/11 would have, how much worse 9/11 would have been for the action movie psyche had it taken out. Thank you. Had it taken out not only Wesley Snipes' apartment, but also Jackie
Chan.
No!
Damn
It's
it.
Jackie Chan calling Wesley Snipes, asking if he can crash in his apartment on 9/11.
God.
I mean, the thing is, right?
There'd be conspiracies they did that to get Jackie Chan.
They were trying to get Jackie.
I wonder how that would have changed the history of the Iraq War if Jackie Chan died in 9/11. Wish we could look into the alternate universe where that happened.
I mean, this is the thing, though. How much of a loss would it be for cinema? What has Jackie Chan done since 2001?
This is what I said in the group chat. I'm like, well, has he made a good movie since
Tuxedo?
2001?
It's just
No.
robbed of Rush Hour 3.
There are others.
But there is another sentence to this, which is...
He's already made Rumble in the Bronx. We're fine.
Chan's claim has been criticized as improbable since the production was delayed and he was contracted for the production of The Tuxedo in Toronto months before. So Jackie Chan lied about almost dying in 9/11, which is
Why would
even more
Why would you lie about that? They are so good at double checking when it comes to 9/11.
Imagine you're Jackie Chan and you feel that you need to lie to people to make them think you're cool. We already think you're cool. You're Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan's stolen 9/11 valor. It's
Odd.
I think Jackie Chan felt that he had to be at 9/11 because that was the largest number of panes of glass that got broken at once. And
they beat his record from Police Story 2. He was really upset about it.
So he goes, listen, somebody's fucking with you. Clearly, right, they're going to try and break general drugs out of airport
Jail.
because this
Oh,
because
yeah,
this
of course.
guy has
Die
the porcelain Glock from Germany.
Yeah.
And we see General Drugs.
Sorry.
on board.
I want to zoom
God
in. I want to zoom
damn
in
it,
here.
dude.
Because at this point, the captain chief throws him out, right? And on his way out, John has this line where he says, "Does the metal detector detect the lead in your ass or the shit in your brains?"
Weak line.
It's a porcelain brain. It doesn't show up on airport metal detector.
The detector doesn't detect shit. But also what's really funny is that instead of following John out the door, we then cut back to the captain who has this like really baffled reaction like, what? He's like trying to understand this line. Like, what?
I love that it's a shit line. I really love it so much.
I believe that they let him ad-lib this one. I can't prove that, but they let him ad-lib a bunch more of his lines in this one, and that to me
Right.
smacks of like guy who thought that was a cool thing to say. The airport detector that detects shit.
Why would you need that?
Yeah, you go through that after the metal, then the girl cock, and then the shit detector. It's very strange, the setup in modern airports.
What you want to get through like an airport with no fuss is obviously like no metal, shoes off, dick tucked, bowels purged.
What was 9/11 like in the universe where they have the shit detector?
You're douching before you go to the airport, I'll tell you that.
What kind of 9/11 did they do?
I have to do a fucking enema before I get on the plane.
They go in from underneath. But
all of the things, I mean, you did a video about this. All of the things in an airport are directly responses to like specific terror attacks. Like the shoe thing is one guy. So I guess in this universe, someone just tried to blow up the fucking plane.
underpants bomber succeeded.
No, I'm sorry, that was me actually. I was trying to go into a toilet and I said I'm going to blow this thing up, and it all got out of control. Everyone's yelling at me.
Someone tried to assassinate the head of Afghanistan's intelligence agency by with a bomb, like a set of like plastic up the asshole, and it doesn't work because you as a person are too good at cushioning explosive. So like the guy. What happened was
We just freaked this guy out.
The guy went into the meeting, shook hands with the guy, and the other guy exploded and like shattered him, showered him with like blood and shit. And he was like, he didn't die. He was just like,
he was just still holding a hand, smoking.
Yes.
Was like, what the?
Yeah.
I swear he didn't shake his hand that hard.
I think about this so often because I want to know for how long afterwards did that man think he was a wizard?
Yeah, definitely. Like, is that me? Did I do that?
Just not shaking hands with anyone,
It
just
must
in
have been a
case.
couple of days whilst they investigated, right?
You're like looking at your Secret Service guys there, looking at you. You're like,
Listen, I know it's a sort of a not a contested category, but that is the funniest suicide bombing, is to explode yourself and no one else.
Just the detective to take the shit in your brains, or the explosive in your ass. Or fuck you.
John McClane was getting yelled at for like 5 uninterrupted minutes in this scene, and he had so long to think of a line, and that's what he goes with. It's
shit in your brain and
perfect.
shit in your
and then he
ass
turns away from him and mutters under his breath, "Fat ass," and it's just like weak. This is nothing, mate. Absolutely nothing.
It's nothing. So now we go to General Drugs.
Yeah, this guy, this is so... My man is getting transported like a villain from Baki. Like, he's just fucking like...
got him on Con Air.
shackled
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
to the back of this plane.
And yeah, he's being... It's like a, I guess, Valverdean military transport. He's got a Castro beard to make him more sinister as well. And a cigar.
90s, yeah.
He has the troop guarding him light his cigar. He's like, I love dealing drugs to the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
They hated me because they hate me dealing drugs.
Yeah, so
My only regret.
so they're setting up the like base in the desanctified church, and I just want to note at this time, I want my podcasting studio to have this like aesthetic because they got a bunch of computers that are like ruggedized. They got flashing lights, big chunky buttons and shit.
Got a big transparent board with things they stick on it. I'm not entirely sure what that's about, but it's cool.
I should start taking notes on one of those instead of like this fucking notebook.
I mean, the thing is like I think we should get a podcasting dungeon, and it needs to be as much like a Bond villain lair as possible. And I think this really hits that vibe.
So at this point, John bullshits the coroners who had taken out the guy who got killed in the luggage killing machine, and he gets his fingerprints, and then he calls Al Powell, Sergeant Powell from the first movie, who's back in LA.
The guy who really got over shooting that kid. Like he's
also in
back
this movie.
In the saddle. Yeah.
Yeah, he reclaimed his masculinity in the first one through murdering.
Yeah.
And then he faxes him the fingerprints and is like, "Yo, I'm using a woke gay fax machine. Can you run these prints?" And then Al says, "Are you pissing in someone's pool?" And he says, "Yeah, and I'm fresh out of chlorine." And I'm like,
he's
you don't bring your own
male bonding is so strange.
Pissing in the pool of a man with shit in his ass.
His spray.
Did you get hit on the head during Die Hard 1?
Many times. The other thing is so the woman whose fax machine this is, she's trying to get it. She's trying to get the McClane, right? And he hits her with the worst pun in the fucking movie. She's like, "Hey, do you wanna come back to my house and fuck me?"
Stuff my stocking?
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
And he sort of like moves his wedding ring at her and goes, "Just the facts, ma'am." You know what's perfect? I really landed a perfect Hans Gruber intonation of that.
That was really good, yeah.
Once you get mad enough at John McClane, you turn into Alan Rickman. Like, it happens to you.
Also, I'm quite impressed. This woman is so committed to hookup culture that she's trying to hook up on Christmas Eve.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe she doesn't celebrate Christmas. Anyway, so Al is like, "Yo, this guy you killed."
You want to come over to my place and eat Chinese food? I'm like, yeah.
This guy has been dead for 2 years. He's Black Ops. You know, he died 2 years ago in a helicopter crash. Troop.
In Nicaragua, where he was an advisor. So we're onto something here. We're onto the dirty war. We're onto like the Contras.
It's clear and present danger time, baby.
Well, it's kind of clear and present danger in reverse, and we'll kind of develop this theme a bit. This movie is it's a little
danger
bit
somewhere else.
Yeah. This opaque and future danger. But yeah, this movie it's a little bit left, a little bit liberal. We'll talk about this.
So John goes to the control tower.
How the fuck does he get up there? First of all, Cinema Sins Ding, they're usually not like adjacent to the terminal. Cinema Sins Ding, they usually have a lock on the door, and I guess he just goes, I am a cop. You know, he uses his like cop cantrip and like gets through the door.
Yeah, it's really easy.
But in there is the chief and also the boss of the airport.
Guy we love to see.
I would love to see.
This business will get out of control. It will get out of control, and we'll be lucky to live through it. It's Fred Thompson. As
a guy called Trudeau, which is very funny
very
now.
Funny.
There's a line I don't have where somebody goes, "But Mr. Trudeau, the press," and I'm like, "Yeah, tell me about it."
So he's
in there blacking up.
There's only one way to deal with this.
I don't know. And John goes in and is like, "Yo, you've got ex-Special Forces dudes running around your fucking baggage department." And just as he's telling them this, the lads have set up their parallel air traffic control room in the church, and they shut down everything, all the computer systems.
50 Cinema Sins dings at once. A Cinema Sins ding that's like the THX logo. You can't do this, brother. You can't for like the obvious reason. You could do 9/11. This is a pre 9/11 movie. 11 years after this movie came out. People who had no more advanced a plan than the old lady that Holly is sitting next to, like, changed the way airports work forever. You didn't need to do all this shit. Anyway.
Well, they do because they like being tactical and shit, right?
I like being tactical. I've never replicated an air traffic control system.
Again, I don't think the lady next to Holly was planning to crash the plane into a tower.
Well, I mean...
So at this point, they're like, well, don't tell anybody that everything's fucked and turned off. We'll avoid a panic. We've got about 2 hours to fix this before planes start dropping out of the fucking sky with no fuel, right?
Yeah, they turn off all the lights.
Yeah.
They like
runways and shit, so they can't see.
Them, yeah, they block them from communicating with anything.
And at this point, the colonel calls in, and he's like, yo, I'm William Sadler. I was in Shawshank Redemption. General.
You may recognize me from TV.
General Drugs is gonna land later on, and don't interfere. And I want a 747 fueled and ready to go. Don't try and fuck with me, or you will be penalized.
Yes, yeah. I should also say at this point, I read an article, and this is just going to substitute for about 50 Cinema Sins things. An article that's like, we talked to 3 air traffic controllers about whether or not the shit that happens in Die Hard 2 was plausible, and the answer is no. That's it. That's all you need to know. It's stupid, and
that's fine. I'm glad this can't happen.
yeah, it's very difficult to like pull from the rest of the movie anything to say other than this can't happen. That's not true. But you know, I'll do my best.
Well, sometimes you can watch a movie and be like, I know this isn't real.
Yeah,
but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, but I wasn't enjoying it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's going to be the main problem, I'd
yeah,
say.
All I had left to fall back on was the realness of it, and this is not, you know?
I watched this film with no one. And at this point, the person who wasn't there turned to me on the couch and said...
a drop that's related.
No, but the person who wasn't there said, why don't they just like get all the vehicles and turn their lights on and put them on the runway, and then you've got improvised runway lights? Wouldn't that? Wouldn't that have been a good thing to do?
Why don't the?
Well, because if they tried to do that, the terrorists would crash one of the planes.
How would the terrorists know they were doing that? Also, how would they crash the plane if the plane knows where to land?
Well, because if because
what a cinema sin ding you.
Shit. Fucking right.
So the conceit here then is that like there are like 15 planes, one of whom is Holly's, which are like in a holding pattern around the airport. There are, because of, I guess, the storm, they can't divert to any other airports, despite the fact that there's like 50 fucking airports on like this bit of the East Coast alone. And therefore, they have 2 hours to resolve the situation by giving this guy everything he wants, and then he's going to turn all their shit back on, and then they can land the planes.
It's Christmas Eve. We're a major airport on Christmas Eve. Just give this guy everything he wants. Fuck it, just whatever.
Yeah, it's good screenwriting. Like, good stakes, ticking clock. Great.
Yeah,
they forget this ticking clock.
Holly McClane is in danger, but not in a way that means that she gets to do anything in the movie.
No, mostly she just gets to like sit in a plane. And they cut back to that plane.
So they keep cutting back to her, and then she just like owns the guy. She just like says a line to him or something, and then it cuts away again. And they're only putting that in so that you remember she's a character in the movie.
100%.
It's fucking. Yeah,
so
nothing.
We go through all of these like pilots. Cole Meany is there.
Hello,
Cole.
It's fucking Miles O'Brien. Is the fucking transporter chief is flying the British Airways flight.
They give him an English accent that's fucking terrible.
Yeah,
he does his
weird.
best, but like they shouldn't have done that to him.
The goddamn Cardassians are fucking with the airport, chief.
They let Irish people fly for British Airways.
No,
they do that. So
maybe now, but in 1990,
yeah, perhaps.
1990, sorry.
Yeah. So the chief engineer Barnes is like,
love this guy.
It's all cyber attack shit where they're like, we have to explain what this is to the viewer, and we're making it up as we go along. So what they're doing is they're fucking our pussies, and we can unfuck our pussy by going to like this under construction bit of the airport and using a VHF antenna there.
Yeah, we'll transmit on the transmitter that we haven't finished building it yet, which they don't know about, and that's how we'll talk to the planes and tell them, because the planes don't know this terrorism that the Cardassians are fucking our pussies, right? They're just like,
just told them.
Yeah, they're just like, we're just in like a holding pattern.
Like this is the thing. The colonel goes, right, you've got like 2 minutes to get everybody into a holding pattern, and you still have like voice communications, and then if you disobey us, we'll crash the planes. And that works on the honor system. They don't use that time to go, hey, divert to another airport because this one's having its cyber pussy fucked. They go, there's like an unknown human factor. Stay on the line.
Yeah,
Yeah, odd that one.
None of this shit makes any fucking sense.
If they had done that, if they had gone just divert to another airport, what was the colonel gonna do? Crash a plane that isn't there?
There is a hand wave line where he says we've already diverted everyone who can be diverted.
Bullshit. doesn't work. Okay.
Land in a field. Do anything. What are you talking about?
Do 9/11. I don't know. So at this point, to go get the guy to the VHF antenna, the captain, the chief of airport police, is like, all right, fine. I'll put my best guys on it. We got a SWAT team. And this SWAT team... Airport SWAT have vintage 90s SWAT fits with the like ball caps and the like M16s with triangular handguards. It's fucking aesthetic as fuck.
That's peak stuff.
And they go there, and McClane is kicked out of the control tower just in time to realize that they're walking into a trap, obviously.
So
because
he sneaks backstage with the help of a janitor named Marvin, who isn't funny.
Marvin.
No, it's not.
Strange fucking character is Marvin. He's sort of like a Mad Max, like gyrocopter pilot type guy, but he works at the airport.
True.
I don't know.
Airports do employ weird guys, but yeah. So he goes through the airport tunnels.
I guess, but our entire interaction with him is indeed the airport tunnels. Yeah.
Yeah, he goes through the airport dungeons.
Yeah.
Fights his way through some slimes.
The sewer level under the airport. He's like killing mole rats and shit.
Yeah. And he gets up to the thing just in time to see the SWAT team walk into an ambush led by our boy
Robert fucking Patrick, baby.
That's a line off too, because they're disguised as painters, and the SWAT team are like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And then the head of the SWAT team goes, "What do I look like?" And Robert Patrick goes, "A sitting duck."
Yeah, generally what you want to do as an ambush is like take as long about it as possible. There's a bit where they like push the button on the like travelator thing, the like horizontal escalator, and everybody stumbles. And what they don't do in that moment is like anything. They just wait and then go, I gotta get my sick line off.
The thing about an ambush is you want to wait until they've already basically figured out that you're not who you say you are before you launch it. You don't want to get them when they're not paying attention. You want to let that shit hit like orange on the noticing chart and then go, all right.
Jeff Cooper's noticing charts.
Yeah, like above their heads, It's going
the alertness meter, yeah. There's no clear kill zone on this, and all the guys doing the ambushing are at one end of a travelator, and it's like, no, you put them by the sides on one side, and they fire down
L-shaped.
Once they're all on the kill zone. Like, come on.
But so
you never even fucking ambushed anybody? Like,
what color is the fucking boathouse? Motherfucker.
Robert Patrick ambushes them with a cup of coffee. He compromises the SWAT team to a permanent end. Barnes gets like kind of shot, and then they forget he gets shot for the rest of the movie.
Yes.
And Bruce Willis has to enter the situation by yet another vent, as he says, to like hang a lampshade on the thing.
The same shit happened to the same guy twice.
They gotta stop letting this guy.
I have another related drop.
You think you're funny? You think you're funny? Fine.
He kills Robert Patrick.
Ooh.
Yeah. Lame.
Robert Patrick leaves the movie. There is a bit where there's a guy with like an MP5K on top of a like scaffolding because he's a painter shooting across, and McClane shoots up at him, and he has the Beretta that cannot penetrate wood, and it doesn't work. He has to like knock the thing over.
I would have liked to penetrate Beretta with my wood. Anyway,
Jesus!
That guy falls and is crushed by a scaffold and instantly goes to Builder's Valhalla and is presumably very confused. And he arrives there.
Painter's Valhalla, surely.
Painters and Decorators Valhalla is adjacent to Builder's Valhalla.
It's a very spattered Valhalla in general. Just everybody's wearing the like work pants that are like spattered with all this white paint.
The ragged trousered philanthropists get fucking got. And then John and Barnes are alive, and Barnes is like, "Oh, great! Now I'll use the antenna." At which point the antenna blows up because the terrorists...
Why did you do all of this if you were going to blow up the fucking antenna anyway?
I'd have done that first. And John's like, "Well, it was bait. Now you've wasted all your best guys." And it's like, "Well, they clearly weren't that good, were they?"
Good, clearly.
Yeah.
They've killed the airport SWAT team. It's fucking over.
They were the only guys who knew how to operate in airports. Operated the kind of like Imperial Stormtrooper provision where it's like this is the ditch trooper, this is the airport trooper. He's only works in airports, so that makes him like suited to the environment.
He's got a really interesting, unique outfit though. Like it's cool as hell.
I had an airport trooper figure.
Once again, it's good screenwriting, but it's like bad story because it's like, well, okay, we need to establish that they're on their own. How do we do that? Oh, all the good guys have been killed. It's like, oh wow.
Sure.
But they've tried to do something, right? Which and that's nebulously against what Captain Stewart wants them to do. So it's time to teach them a fucking lesson.
Oh yeah. So first of all, we go to the extremely British plane
It's
where
called Windsor 114.
where a stewardess is going.
We're just like British Rail, love. We may be late, but we get you there.
What?
British fucking people.
Hey?
Oh, welcome to the plane, love.
Hey?
Fuck off.
What?
Yeah, I'd have no idea. First of all, British Rail does not get you there anymore.
Oh, there is one other thing. One other thing before we get to this, which is something I noted in passing in the aftermath of the gunfight. The all-time funniest movie First Aid, where one of the SWAT guys, right, he's been shot twice in the chest, and the medics hit him one time with a defibrillator and then drop his ass and leave. Like GTA 3 level emergency paramedicine. It's incredible. Just that one couple of seconds of like hit the guy with the thing, walk. Incredible.
So at this point, the colonel gets on the radio and is like, "Well, yo, you've disobeyed me." And at this point, the captain of the police calls John McClane over the radio, so the colonel knows who he is now.
Yeah. Also, so the colonel then hijacks the broadcast and goes, Windsor 114, I'm going to need you to 911 the runway over. Except he does it in a Walton Goggins simple country lawyer voice. I don't have drops for it, but just envision in your head what that sounds like, you know?
So he resets using gay computers. He resets sea level to be minus 200, and then he's like, Comini, Chief O'Brien, try and land the craft, and he lands it, and then John tries to warn them. There's a moment where O'Brien tells the passengers we'll be landing soon, and they clap, and my notes say Brits would never clap.
Brits would never clap on a plane.
Shameful.
John tries to warn them by getting on the runway with flaming sticks, but they hit the deck and they explode, and 240 people die. Presumably, Comini beams out just in time.
Kills the
back
Brits,
to DS9,
man.
but
What was the population of Britain in 1990, and therefore how many 9/11s is this?
I don't know, but we have improved it now by 240.
Yeah. So this is the other thing. Oh, one other thing I want to note, which is at this point, John McClane gets the first of about 3 sick jackets that he has in this movie. He has a airport engineering winter jacket, and I go, fuck, that's cool. It's got Dulles Engineering on the back, stenciled on. This is as important to me as British 9/11.
This would be 2 British 9/11s. Thank you.
Wow.
John is sad
okay.
because 2 British 9/11s just happened. And he couldn't stop it. And we found out Molly's plane has 90 minutes of fuel left, so clock's still ticking.
The other thing that bothers me about the plane crash here is it hits the ground, it explodes. The explodingest plane in the world, 3 different times. But the point of the thing was that they didn't have any fuel on the plane. That's why they had to land the plane, because they didn't have the fuel. So if they didn't have any fuel, what explodes?
The whiskey in first class.
Oh, that old lady's angina medication.
On British Airways, that shit is strong.
Yeah. So,
and they're all in fucking bottles above 125 mil and everything.
Yeah.
You could bring any amount of fuel with you in your carry-on back in the day. So I guess a lot of people have chosen to bring petrol.
The dilithium, it goes up. The antimatter, yeah.
I know the answer is because this is a Die Hard movie, but even so.
That's not even the most egregious instance of planes exploding in this movie.
No, it's not.
So at this point, the counterterrorism squad arrive.
Yeah, an army team called Blue Light, and they show up and they do some cool Delta shit, and they are led by Major Grant. And Major Grant says, "I taught Colonel Stewart everything he knows."
How does that? I thought Colonel was bigger than Major.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
How did he overtake you? You got lapped, man. That's fucking embarrassing.
Embarrassing for you.
My note here was how does a major teach a colonel everything he knows? If you were a staff officer, do not write in.
At this point, the person who I wasn't watching this film with, because I also raised this point, and nobody said, well, maybe Major Grant is really good, and so they kept him in the combat role and didn't promote him out of it. So. But anyway, he's like, let the pros handle this, John McClane, and John is excluded from the big boy club at this point.
Yeah, he has to sneak in to the overhear the big boy club talking through some more tunnels. Man loves tunnels.
He loves the tunnel.
He claims to hate them, and yet he loves the tunnel.
The airport has so many tunnels in it.
Barnes, the
Yeah.
airport second in command, figures out a way to like transmit to the planes, basically, and he tells them everything that they should have just told them earlier on. And we also see that Walter Peck has somehow like listening into the cockpit radio chatter, so he now knows the situation on the ground as well.
Yeah, because he just through some bullshit, he has like live audio of this, and
he's got a great sense for news. I gotta tell you.
Yeah, he does. He does his job well in this film, and everyone hates him for it. I'm like, why?
Yeah, he kind of doesn't do anything wrong in the movie. Actually, I kind of want to highlight that.
Yeah, he's a dick to the stewardesses, but like
he's just like interpersonally mean to the people around him. But everything he does is so fine.
Genuinely, yeah, like.
They tase him later, and it's like, what for? Anyway,
so General Drugs at this point wins the Kronstein Rosette.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
He hijacks the plane in which he is flying. He like points a gun at the co-pilot, and the co-pilot's like, "Listen," and he shoots him. And the other pilot's like, "Listen, you need me to fly the thing," and he shoots that guy too. No, what does he do? What does he do?
Well, to be fair, it's like, he shoots them both 100%. But like the moment he put the gun against like the pilot's head, I was just looking at the co-pilot and trying to imagine what it would be like in that situation. Just immediately and like too loud, being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go and help fly the plane now. The job that he can't do alone. I'm just gonna do my vital job of helping fly the plane now. Don't worry about me. I need to be here." Immediately get shot.
Yeah.
But he shoots the co-pilot, and then the pilot says, "What are you gonna do? Shoot me? Then who's gonna fly the plane?" And General Drugs goes, "Don't worry about it," and kills him.
He goes, "I can fly a plane, mate."
He accidentally depressurizes his own plane as well because he shoots out the windshield. And so he has to land on a different... Yeah, he has to land on a different runway than the one that they planned for.
Yeah, the more depressurization-friendly runway.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the general lands, and then he goes, freedom. And John punches him and goes, haha, not yet. No frequent flyer mileage for you.
Yeah, to what?
What?
John McClane.
Does the frequent miles detect the shit in your miles or the lead in your baggage?
John is in constant danger of being hit by planes. Like, he's one of the most about to be hit by a planes guys in the world. There's like 3 scenes.
At least until 2001.
He gets stuck under a grate as the plane is like landing towards him. He goes up instead of down.
Yeah.
He like rolls out of the way. But so he gets on board. He like welcome to Earth's the guy and cold cocks him. Then the boys, the colonel's guys show up in a Land Rover, in a Range Rover with sick MP5Ks with like the magazines like jungle taped together with red tape, so you know they're serious. And their job is to get General Drugs out, right?
Yes.
They show up, they go, "Hey, that's General Drugs. Where is John McClane?"
Where the fuck is he?
And as John McClane is in the cockpit,
John McClane fucking absolutely ruins his position here. He's got a great position, and then he fucks it for no reason. He's got General Drugs.
He does.
Held at gunpoint. Drugs has no gun. He's got him. True. They've got all the guys outside. What does he do? He throws General Drugs across the room and then hides in the cockpit of the plane. And then just lets everyone else get on the plane. Like, you've gone from the commanding position here to... completely fucked.
Yeah,
but at this point, just grab General Drugs and run. Like, why waste the time to kill John McClane? Why waste the time to monologue as Stuart does? He's like, "Hey, we got to throw some grenades into this cockpit to kill John McClane."
His fucking face is very funny.
He is locked in there. You could have just left. But they stopped to do that.
Grenades with the world's longest fuses.
Yeah, they send in the 50-second long fuse grenades. And he
also
has
wrote
enough
down
time.
a grenade with a 20-second fuse.
Has enough time to use the ejector seat to get himself out of there.
It is sick. It is sick.
Cinemasons.
I hope someone does kill him.
It is cool, though. I like this bit. He uses the ejector seat in the cockpit and like manages to escape the explosion. And in fact, the boys actually see this and they're like, "Lucky son of a bitch!" And then they're like, "Oh shit, we gotta go because the fucking fire department are coming." And like, what are they gonna do? They've got axes.
One thing they're scared of. Yeah,
fire department are very melee based as a fighting unit.
The thin red line. Well, they got water cannon.
I guess they are on Christmas Eve.
And it is cold.
Yeah, that'd be cold. Yeah.
We go back to Holly, and Holly's on the plane. She closes her work folder, and I note that she still works for Nakatomi, which is really funny. Imagine the
That's
Christmas
so
party
crazy.
the next year.
Well, she's notably not there for it. She's
I'm skipping this one, boys. I gotta tell you, I'm not.
Just like at the Nakatomi Plaza Christmas party, they're like, "Oh man, I heard it was a rough time last year."
I mean,
And
why
you're
would
like,
she
"Ooh."
quit Nakatomi? Like, you
Yes.
know, they've got
I mean,
a lot of
yeah.
sympathy. She wasn't mistreated by any of the guys there. Like,
yeah, they must have like presumably given her a lot of time off and like money.
yeah,
and,
yeah.
You hope so.
God, you'd hope so.
It's the 90s. They still had some workers' rights then.
We got a few more now, but yeah.
So they're running out of fuel, and she's on a patriotic American plane. So the American plane is like, listen, the second we run out of fuel, we're going to drop out of the sky. Ding. Therefore, what we should do to keep them calm is, being Americans, we got to show them TV.
Yeah,
Everybody,
Simpson.
yeah, everybody watched this classic Simpsons episode, which, to be fair, would cheer me up.
Yeah.
It's
a
the
90s
1990s. Hey,
Simpsons
everyone
too,
watch
yeah.
this modern Simpsons episode. Whoa.
It's never gonna get worse.
Yeah.
Marge is gonna sound like this forever.
And at this point, Walter Peck
Marge
calls the news station, and he's like,
From the bathroom.
From the bathroom.
He goes into the plane bathroom, he cooks some shrimp in there, and then he calls in the newsroom.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, listen, here's what's going on. There's like Army Special
He goes,
Forces.
I've got a scoop.
They've hijacked the airport.
And like this is fine to do. Like he's a
Yeah.
reporter.
He does
That's
his job.
Like it's newsworthy story. Like this is legit. But we also see that he's kind of doing it for career reasons. He's like, kind
Yeah,
of, you
he's a
know,
little bit vain. Fine. But
Well,
this
yeah.
immediately provokes a riot in the airport, which is so funny to me. To be like, my loved one might die. I'm getting a big Toblerone.
Let's
I'm
go,
going to
let's go.
start looting at this point. I'm carrying off some duty-free Cointreau.
I gotta tell you, if I'm in an airport and I hear an announcement that sounds even slightly worrying, I'm straight into the duty free, like pouring shit into my bag, just pouring fucking
At this point-
perfumes into my bag.
John and Barnes are like, well, how did the boys roll up so quickly on that plane? They must be stationed somewhere nearby. Maybe they're in the old church factory where the airport cables go.
So at this point, the army change into their cool snow outfits, which is very cute.
Yeah,
It is nice,
they,
yeah.
They kind of look like IRA pastry chefs.
Yeah, so
they look like
tactical Michelin man unit. Don't worry.
they look like they're guarding painter and decorator Valhalla is what they look like.
The statues outside that come to
Yes,
life.
they
And
do.
the one guy who John McClane has spoken to in the army besides Major Grant is like, hey, it's a shame I wasn't with you guys in Grenada.
Whoa,
That's-
way too.
we're well off that. Hang on.
Are we?
Yes, we are. So first,
Yeah, we gotta have a
John
little
goes.
siege.
John goes to the church, and then they spot a sentry. John fights the sentry and kills him. And then the army roll up because Barnes called them. So I guess John kills him with an icicle through the eye.
Yeah, I wrote down
hard as hell.
Yeah, it was kind of
Sickle.
pointless
And
as
also-
well because then the army roll up and John falls back and it's like, okay, but unprovoked violence there.
Yeah.
And then the army respects you now, John McClane, my notes say.
True.
There's a really funny bit where the boys inside are like, you know, loading up and like getting ready to go. And one of the henchmen like picks up his magazine, flips it in his hand, catches it like a cool guy, and then like tries to put it into the weapon, but like misses and fucks it up.
Yeah, no, I really
That's
loved
the
that that
take
was
they
in there.
used. It's like, oh shit.
Shit, fuck.
And all of these magazines are also taped together, but they're taped together with blue tape.
Yes. Normally they're taped together with red, but they get the sort of like. And like Stuart's starting, like he's like halfway through a monologue at one point, and he's like, "Boys, they're rolling up. Everyone swap to the blue magazines, and they all change from the red to
Clever
the blue."
Maxim. So yeah, they also put some bombs.
Everyone swap to your shorter fused grenades.
Yeah, they put some bombs in the like control center. They have like 3 bricks of serious putty for one room. And I've written down, I don't know why I write like this or talk like this, and I should probably be killed, but I've written down the phrase, these snowsuit dipshits do not move tactically.
They really don't, though. It's also really funny to imagine like trying to tactically sneak around and your snowsuit's making it like flip every footstep.
So there's a firefight and the lads escape on snowmobiles. So good thing it was snowing. Very helpful.
Oh, but Grant calls Lorenzo, the chief, a bureaucrat and gets him out of the way because fuck bureaucrats. We love the army.
Yeah.
We love Army.
This is all the change from Die Hard 1, where both the FBI and the like LAPD SWAT team were notorious dipshits.
Yeah, the FBI guys were like cowboys who got themselves killed being imbeciles. Like, it was really blatant. Whereas this one's like, federal government sending their boys, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John steals a snowmobile and he goes after them as the army guys realize that the equipment is booby trapped with C4. We get a cool snowmobile chase, which I quite liked, and some
the
gun
booby trap
jousting.
line is particularly funny because like they walk in and Grant's like, "Careful, boys, it might be booby trapped in here." And like halfway through saying that, one of the other guys go, "Yeah, they've done it, sir." And he's like, "All right."
Yeah, it
and
is.
They all
Yeah.
just turn around and leave again. Careful, it might be booby trapped. Oh, it is. All right, bye. You're like, all right.
So McClane chases them down the snowmobile, noting that Grant's guys are not giving chase at all. He kills one of them, takes their MP5. Tries to shoot them, and it has no effect. And he's like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
That's weird.
They get away though because they blow up John's snowmobile. He jumps a truck, and they think they got him. And the colonel is now heading for the hangar where his 747 is ready. He also has a detonator for the equipment, so like if they try and stop him, then he'll blow up the parallel control room, and they won't be able to land the plane. And this is the point where Major Grant does that thing he does.
He does the thing because he's like, Telford, the one guy who McClane has spoken to, is like, hey, it's a shame I wasn't with you guys in Grenada, a real war. And Grant goes, yeah, kill this guy right now.
Kill this motherfucker. Grant goes, yeah, it's a shame you aren't there because then I wouldn't have to do this, and just like does him in with a Bowie knife.
Horrible. Yeah, it's pretty visceral.
Like this is a sick turn. I didn't see this coming.
I didn't see it coming.
I didn't see this coming.
This is a really effective twist. I really liked it.
It is. It's good screenwriting.
Yeah. They're working with the colonel all along. The army guys.
Steve fucking taught the colonel all he knows. They're buds.
Yeah,
it said it first line.
I told him everything he knew about drugs.
This guy loves drugs.
Yeah. So at this point, John realizes that the magazine he picked up is loaded with blanks, and he proves this point.
Ding, cinema sins, ding. You can't switch pretty much any firearm from like blanks to like live ammunition because the blanks won't have enough energy to cycle the action. So you have to have an adapter to choke down the barrel to increase the. Yeah. You have to screw a little thing onto the end.
I didn't know that. I straight up thought you could just put a blank in any gun.
No. So
I swear we didn't have that when I was in cadets. We used to have live and blanks.
Yeah, you used to have like a blank fire adapter, the yellow thing that you fit onto the end of the barrel.
Yeah,
right?
we got those
like,
eventually, but we didn't have them when I started.
Yeah, but if you had like the GP rifle that like was bolt action, it doesn't matter because it didn't need the round to cycle it, right? But yeah, so a blank
this is an
round
educational podcast, actually.
It won't cycle the action. You have to screw the little thing on and like increase the gas pressure.
This is an educational podcast because I was watching The Terror with my beautiful partner, and they were doing a little toast, and one of them goes, "What day is it?" And the other goes, "Thursday." And I was like, from the thing that Alice told me.
That's right.
I was pointing at the screen.
But John proves that the army guys are betraying them because he opens fire on the police captain with blanks in an airport. It's the 90s.
He does not fucking hesitate to let it bark. I can't mind Lorenzo.
He really does. He like throws the gun down afterwards, which is painful to watch. It's a really nice gun.
And the captain goes, "It's time to kick ass." So apparently his lines aren't very good either.
Bureaucrats can be redeemed by kicking ass. And that's No, I the way that it treats Captain Lorenzo is like curious to me, right? Where it's kind of like he does the same thing for Al Powell, right? Where he gives cops back their cop self-respect by making them do some cowboy shit.
Yeah, and it's always overweight cops. Like it's always cops who are like, "Oh, I'm a big fish in a small pot." Well, no, actually, to be fair, Al Powell wasn't particularly pathetic. He was just more pathetic than like domineering.
He was overweight and unwilling to kill.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Yeah, Lorenzo becomes willing to kill. Meanwhile, Holly is seeing that journalism can only ever be irresponsible and must be punished. Because like Thornburg is kind of like panicking people. He's like, we could all be killed at any moment.
He's also correct. If they'd evacuated the airport earlier, a lot of this could have been avoided.
Yeah, he is 100% correct, and he's just doing his job also.
for no reason, she just like hits him with the stun gun.
She gets him with the taser. Like,
and here's the thing, right? If you're panicking, if you have like a big Toblerone under each arm, you're like kicking the glass in at duty free.
Of course.
And you're listening to the news, and the guy goes, "We might all be killed."
Unscrewing the tops of the fragrances and
panicking
pouring them into a
more
big
or
bottle.
less? Yeah.
Way more.
Like they fucking they Al Qaeda'd this guy.
He's
you think?
on air right now.
Yes.
They try to like justify it because like he's on air being like, and this story's been broken by me, the greatest fucking journalist of all time, and she like zaps him one.
The punishment for hubris is not getting tasered. I mean, sometimes, but not like
sometimes
ideally
it is, but,
not.
yeah. So at this point, John flags down the reporter lady with ADHD. And it's like, yo, can you give me a lift in the news chopper? Because
he has to do this because he's originally going to get a lift on an airport police car, and they're all set to like cowboy up. The
Merry Christmas.
guy is there in the back of the car because they're brothers.
Yeah, he's also.
And they immediately crash the car, which is fun.
That was funny.
I am a fan of that. So he has to like get the news helicopter to drop him onto the wing of a taxiing 747. This is cool. Sorry.
Yeah,
This was sick.
Yeah, it was. He also jams. He takes off his cool jacket and he jams one of the flaps because General Drugs is flying the plane with all the boys on. They're going to get away. And he gets onto the wing and he jams one of the flaps. And then Major Grant comes out and they have a fight on the wing.
They do.
It's fucking cool.
This second cool jacket's a fire department jacket. It's like bunker gear. It's really nice.
Yeah, this is sick. This is sick. Like, I respect the fuck out of Grant for this because he's like, I'm gonna go out there and fist fight this guy on this wing. He doesn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
No one has to convince him to do that.
No,
He's like, it's time for me to fist fight this guy on the wing.
So I have two notes.
I would have shot him with a gun.
Well,
Nah,
this is the thing.
loser shit.
General Drug says you can't shoot him with a gun because the planes, the wings are full of fuel.
Yeah.
And we don't have like a self-sealing fuel tank.
I would have shot horizontal instead of shooting him down.
Nah.
It doesn't matter.
Perpendicular to the wing.
Two things. First of all, as we go back to Holly, Thornburg is like panicking, and I write down, this guy's a pussy because he's scared of dying in a plane crash.
Yeah, I don't really. All of the Holly shit genuinely could have been cut, and the movie still would have been like good, maybe a little bit better paced even.
And the second thing I know is that the plan here is they've defected because explicitly, as Stuart says, like in one of his monologues earlier, General Drugs, right, is a bulwark against communism. And this country, the 1990 United States of America, keeps cutting him off at the knees, stopping him from like the thing about the US in the 1990s.
The US in
is
the
that
90s hated when Latin American guys killed communists. They fucking hated that shit.
And this is
please stop.
I guess a Manuel Noriega thing, but to then also bring in Nicaragua, it's the most tepid criticism of US policy in specifically Central America to be like, oh man, some of these guys seem alarmingly fascist and our military seem to be like enabling them. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like, of course, that's what they were paid to do.
Yeah, like Reagan sent weapons and like money to death squads in El Salvador, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a sort of policy of like, oh, these guys just did it because they're like extreme and like working beyond the White House and they, you know, became mercenaries. It's like, no, because they were fucking ordered to. But in any case, they're going to defect to I don't know,
tropics?
fucking somewhere fascist in Central America where the US can't get them. Big question mark. And but they're going to do that by flying the US has an air force.
The US can shoot planes down.
Yeah, that's true. They could have shot that plane down.
John McClane had just done fuck all here and just gone, okay, right, job's a good one. Like, you know, they could have just fucking shot the thing down. Doesn't matter.
I mean, take a hostage, maybe. I would have done that.
Yeah, but no hostages, none at all. Just boys all in a plane.
I would take hostages.
Major Grant gets kicked into a jet engine and inhaled by the jet engine. And I think that maybe having one of your engines have a guy inhaled into it is probably bad.
Yeah, this guy gets fucking obliterated.
You've got 3 more engines.
He goes through that shit and the engine is just fine.
I imagine the engine is sturdier than the guy.
No, it's no. Oh, no. Yeah, no. Fan very thin, very thin, very delicate.
McClane gets the shit kicked out of him by Colonel Stewart, but as he gets kicked off the wing, he like pulls the wing, dump all the fuel.
Yeah.
Checking my dumps lever, and there's no way to see the fuel levels from the cockpit or to stop dumping fuel from the cockpit. So they take off.
Okay, now I'm gonna stop you here because
please,
all of this is incorrect and it's wrong, right? Like, no, not from your part. Like, none of this could possibly be done in real life. However, what it is in service of is so sick nasty that I'm willing to let it pass.
The plane is trailing fuel. McClane, who is, I guess, also covered in fuel at this point, sparks up the lighter, does not catch fire.
Zippo.
Yeah.
Throws it.
Yeah. And the trail of fuel just ignites, outruns the plane.
Ignites the whole way up, jumps up the flow of fuel into the airplane's wing, and the whole church gets deconsecrated. Unbelievable.
McClane, having deconsecrated their entire ship, just starts laughing in a really psycho way.
Immediately, it starts doing a Fortnite default dance. Like,
also, liquid jet fuel doesn't burn. You can't do that. That wouldn't work.
And the way that he saves the day is instead of them just flipping the runway lights back on now that the shit's over, the planes come into land. Holly's first, which is running on fumes, and therefore is going to fall out of the sky and not just glide. It comes into land on the plane crash. Like, it uses the fire as a
landing light. Yeah.
Just land a plane on top of the plane crash. That's fine.
Then
no
also,
problems.
Instead of taxiing out of the way of like the 13 other flights who need to land, they just like disembark right there.
Yeah, like with like a second between them. That separation, fantastic.
I'll say this for free though: Holly has no idea that John is involved in this. She has no idea what he's been up to. She's getting off this plane and seeing him and just being like, "For fuck's sake, did you do it again?"
Yeah.
So how does this keep happening to us?
You fucking do.
It's good, yeah. And so Thornburg is left to
old lady calls him an asshole.
Recuperate from his taser wound lying in the snow, untreated, while paramedics hustle like uninjured people past him.
Well, what were they going to do? They were just going to defibrillate him once and then fuck off. He's already had his one defibrillation. He's done.
That's true. Fantastic triage work there. And
Marvin, the janitor's like, I ain't going to clean up this mess, Rick. Whoa.
Yeah. The airport,
this guy?
The airport cop brothers go,
Merry Christmas.
and tear up his ticket. And it's just sort of like peace and...
So they tear up his ticket. And the person who I wasn't watching this movie with didn't turn to me and say, now he can't get the car back.
That's true. They impounded his shit. But this is the other thing, right?
That's his mother-in-law's car. He's fucked.
They impound his shit, and now he can't get back. The TV news lady like watches him, but like respectfully, and stops them filming, as opposed to Thornburg in the first movie. And the vibe is like, peace and goodwill to all men. There's like Christmas music.
Merry Christmas.
300 British people are dead.
I hope someone does kill him.
The merriest Christmas of all.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, dead Brits.
There's like two burning planes in the shot, and everyone's like, and to all a good night. Thank you.
It's like raining body parts.
The bits of fucking Cole Meany are still landing.
Oh no!
They killed Cole Meany. But nothing.
Fine, he beamed out just in time.
We got a plane coming in here from London. Right. That's the end of my notes, which means we must be at the end of the movie. How did we feel?
This one was way worse than Die Hard.
This was so much fucking worse.
It's like Die Hard, he's like an underdog and he has to live by his wits, but he has to live by his wits in kind of like pedestrian way, where it's like he found a gun and shit like that. And this also doesn't have a Hans Gruber as much as the naked shit with William Sadler promised it, and the Foghorn Leghorn voice. He's pretty boring.
Yeah, he didn't have enough presence, I don't think.
No.
It's not a fault on William Sadler. I think it's just they don't give the villain much.
Of course, it's
But yeah, no, it's so. It just kind of to me, it read as sequel TM. You know, the kind of sequel they did a bunch in the 90s, where it's like, you like this guy? We got more of this guy. We threw more money at it.
I hate. It's literally called Die Hard 2 Die Harder. Like, this movie it's like movie to the sequel to movie. And you're like, here he is, here's the guy.
I'm clapping my hands and going, yeah!
Also, like, this seems
you
like...
wait until KJB 2025 when we have to watch
It seems like an easier mission for John Die Hard McClane than last time. It feels like he got to wear shoes.
Feet fucked up.
Yeah, he gets to wear shoes the whole time. He's also pretending he's on his own here. There's like a whole airport full of people.
Yeah, he's got a lot of allies.
Detective Sipowicz, you know?
Yeah.
But we don't have to speculate idly about this because we have a science-based system on this podcast. It's called the SCUM system. It stands for SMARM, Cultural Insensitivity, Unprovoked Violence, and Masculinity. Masculinity? Yeah, it stands for masculinity. All of them get 7. Stands for misogyny. How smarmy is this movie? Yes.
It's much, much, much higher than the first one, and I don't recall what we gave
Does
the
the
first
shit in your brains feed the lead in your freedom?
Herds in your ass.
Welcome to the same guy with the shit in his 6th.
Die Hard 2.
6.
This time
6.
He's got a brain injury. All right.
This is going to get like, we're going to have to go higher than this when we start getting to like Schwarzenegger stuff. I'm considering at some point in the years of the future, because we're going to watch every movie a season of Schwarzenegger.
They made a lot of movies about
I
masculinity.
know a lot of of cool 90s schlock Schwarzenegger movies.
So pumped.
Yeah. So
cultural insensitivity.
I think it's pretty offensive to call a guy Vito Lorenzo. And
give a couple points for that.
And other than that, General Ramon Esperanza from Valverde, the drugs
Played
country,
by an Italian man.
is I'm gonna just scrolling. Why don't I use any of these?
Drugs.
Oh, si, senor.
It's all here, you know?
Yes, true.
Si, senor.
4. Well, we do have a lot of the characters of color who have like agency and do good shit, which is nice.
It's true.
4. There's weirdly not a lot of homophobia.
True.
Yeah, there's Huh.
3 or 4, I guess.
Let's go 4.
4.
On 4, yeah.
Unprovoked violence. John McClane.
The icicle guy did not need to die and did not need to die like that. That was like straight up. That was done for our entertainment. Like John advances on the position, kills him, and then falls back. It's like there's no point.
Yeah. He did that for the fun of it.
He blows up a plane, kind of for no reason.
He does blow up a plane. He does go in with no backup, and then just open fire on these guys.
It's pretty
They
unprovoked
opened fire on him
violence.
first.
Did they provoke it?
That was
He engineered the situation, and he's a cop, so like,
yeah. Okay.
4, 5,
4.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, violence
misogyny.
can never be started by the oppressed.
Wait, hold on. It's got to be a 5 because we've got to also include Holly tasering a journalist for being annoying.
You're right.
She is a protagonist of this movie, and her violence is excused and fine.
Yeah, the fourth estate
fine.
should be protected. I can't believe I'm saying that as a British trans woman, but you know, you can't just go around tasering journalists when they're right.
Sometimes
no matter
actually
how
got to
annoying they are. Misogyny. How misogynistic is this movie? Well, Holly doesn't get to do anything except taser a guy.
Well, here's your 2 female characters: is Holly and ADHD journalist.
The good journalist, and you can tell she's a good journalist because her journalism is like not threatening to the police, which
she does get called a pinko bitch at one point.
Yeah, but that's meant to be like
That's
you
to
know,
establish the bad
Stuart's
guys
men
are bad.
unsympathetic. Yeah, every woman is trying to fuck John McClane, but because he's too wholesome to do it, it doesn't come across as being particularly exploitative.
Because the thing is, they're only being written in so that he can get his like wife guy lines off.
Yeah.
So it feels a little less.
Still kind of like
exploitative,
masculine
but
power fantasy, though. It's just like, and
Of course
also
it
the
is.
women want to fuck him.
Yeah, and you know, the characters that only exist to make him seem sexually desirable. Yeah, there's like none of the airport cops are women, you know.
Yeah, true.
Any of this. I don't know, for 1990, I keep wanting to like grade on a curve here, and I keep having to talk myself out of it. 3?
I could go for 3. I think we're being a little bit merciful to give it a 3. It could have been a 4, but it's Christmas.
is Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
That gives it a
Christmas.
total score of
Oh.
18, which is...
18.
Would you like to know what we gave Die Hard 1 a year
I
ago
would.
today?
I really would.
I would.
Last year, we gave Die Hard 1 14, so we are getting worse.
Getting worse. Yeah, that makes sense to me. That makes
about right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can't wait for next year, because Die Hard 3 is my
Yes.
favorite.
Wait
Yeah.
for next year.
Many happy returns. I hope. Thank you all for listening to.
Yeah, do we
Kill
want to
James
do
Bond
the
this year.
Sincerity Christmas Zone? Can we get Silent Night under this?
I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas if you celebrate it, a wonderful holiday season if you don't, and I hope that you are continuing to listen in 2024, and you join us again this time next year for the movie with the racist sandwich board, Die Hard 3. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
It's been an honor and a privilege to command all of you.
It's been a
Yeah.
genuine pleasure.
Genuinely, Merry Christmas, listener.
Yeah, and next year we have some big things in the works.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, we're going to have some
Oh,
fun.
yes. Gotta call that done on Tuesday. I'm very excited.
That's
Happy
right.
holidays to one and all. Deck the halls.
Merry Bondmas.
It's okay to feel insane.
Merry
Your phone
Copsmas.
is making you feel insane. It's fine. Don't worry.
That's right.
We all
that's
do.
Right. Look after yourself, and we will see you next year. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you for listening to yet another episode of Kill James Bond. That's right. Next year, at about the same time, we're going to be doing Die Hard 3, a movie that is emphatically not a Christmas movie. Just simply doesn't take place at Christmas. Nothing to do with Christmas. Just gonna do it for the Christmas special anyway, because of the rod we build for our backs every day. However, if that is simply too long for you to wait, and it is a year, you can hear another episode of Kill James Bond next week, also on the free feed, because it too is a special for the holiday season. It's Goldfinger with no notes, and we're struggling. We're not doing too great on that one, I gotta tell you. Thank you, of course, to our patrons. A special thanks to our £15 and above patrons, and those are Space Northport, Lo Bjornsdotter, Candy Fox, Freya Aloysius, Gustavo Lira, Jack Holmes, Mike Berg, Hannah Oberhart, Nick Boris, Power Dad, Nate Amori, Jason Hager, George Rohak, Kentucky Fried Commie, Drone Lover, Yarrick, Melody Meloro Gonzalez, a cow named Mr. Pickles, Labored Lender Est, Callum Burney, Jay Martindale, Trip, Library Hitman, Max Gamenhart, Jonathan Gerd, Mothman, Beef Crime, Jack Drummond, Kid Define Tapo, Steve Widdershins, Maeve, Victoria Roth, Elias changed a name, hang on, I might be like Akira now, which is kind of funny. Rosie Can't Fail, Help, Send Horses and Men, Claire, Forrest L. Novell, The Project, Anina, Emery, Commissar Ozymandias, Just the Worst, Hell, A Trans Robot, Joyous Uwu, Zan Hutchin, Lexibomb, Violet Cybra, Isopod Gal, Annie Ruby, Katie Probst, Faratsuka, Ronan, Clarification, Noblesse Oblahai, John 2089, Connor's Cool Big Sister, Sergeant Jackram, Sengshen, Liz and Ash in Florida, Alex, Corvid Cultist, Wolfscott, Quinn Valeri, Grendel Growls, Al Irving, Wolfie, Philippa Smith, brackets, now with more Dyke. Great news for Philippa Smith heads. Finn Ross, Robert Greensmith, Electro the Cyber Puppy, Abigail, Loz Pycock, Mega Combi, Emily, Queen of Sloths, Turths Eat Shit and Die Alone, Josh Simmons, Zoe Shepard, Vay needs a new $15 membership name so she isn't conspicuous. Yeah, you do. Talkative Tiger, Lauren Bastin, Cheer Up Love. Might never happen. Yeah, it might not. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Free Palestine. Start those arguments in your family. Why not? You only live once. And you're all around the dinner table, so really it's now or never. It's high time. Just start throwing immense amounts of shade. Just start talking about Palestine. Whatever. That's not legal advice. Kill James Bond is Alice, Abigail, and Devon. Our producers are the wonderful Nate Bethay and Erling, Mr. Tom O'Mahony. Our podcast art is by Matthew Lubchansky. Our website is by Tom Allen. And I will see you next week for another pre-recorded jazz outro. Mwah.